The truth about cruise sales, why some ships take out an entire deck in the middle of the vessel, how to get freebies in the casino, and even a clever trick to never get locked out of your room. I've compiled a list of 22 cruise secrets that you want to know, and more importantly, that you will never forget. Let's dive in. Visit any cruise website or sign up for their email list, and you will always see big flashy notices about huge sales that you just can't miss. Or can you? Truth is that cruise line sales run constantly, as in there is always a sale running. And really, while the sales may be tweaked a little here or there, they almost always come out to roughly the same price. If a cruise line really needs to fill cabins by lowering costs, they will just cut the price of the fare on certain trips, not offer a big discount across the board. So if you're waiting for a big sale, don't bother. Just book when you find a price that you like. Head to the dining room and you'll be given a menu and then ask for an appetizer, a main entree, and a dessert. What's not explicitly clear is that you can actually order multiples. Do you want to try 2 entrees, or maybe you can't decide between a couple of appetizers? Just order them both. Now, if you start going crazy, there might be an upcharge for additional entrees beyond 2, but in general, you can just order whatever you want and get your fill. One secret is that if you're on a cruise ship, then you better know that you're on camera. Now, this doesn't apply to private spaces like your cabin, but just about any public area will be within the view of 1 or more cameras, so be on your best behavior. And before you think that the cameras around the ship are just for show, I can tell you personally that I've seen the video feeds when visiting the bridge of the ship, and yes, those cameras, they are recording. One secret to save a little bit of money is to do things on the ship when in port. When in ports, most people, they leave the ship. To induce demand, some lines have special prices on things like the spa or some attractions where you can get the same service for less money than a day at sea. Yes, you do have to sacrifice some of your port time, but if you schedule it early in the morning or maybe later in the day, you can save some cash and still have plenty of time to go ashore. Now, if you're more concerned about the ports you visit than the ship that you sail, then stick to those older ships. In general, they will save you a decent chunk of money. With new ships, cruise lines charge a premium as they offer the latest and greatest. Smaller ships, however, they can still give you a good cruise, and often the destinations that are similar or the same as newer ships, but they are generally priced lower. The result is that you still get a great vacation, but at a significantly lower cost. Also, if you're wanting a shorter cruise, those tend to be on older ships, with newer ones sailing 7-day trips. I said that newer ships are generally more expensive to sail because they offer the latest and greatest. That may actually be selling the difference between new and old ships short. Cruise lines, they often have ships that can vary in age from brand new vessels to ones that were built 25 or even 30 years ago. The difference between 2 ships built that far apart is jaw-dropping. Cruising has come a long way in that time, and what's possible at sea has changed too. I personally prefer newer ships as they feel more contemporary and have lots more things to do. Others like the older ships because they are generally smaller and have fewer passengers. No matter your preference, however, just know that all ships are not the same. As a passenger, you get to experience the vast majority of the cruise ship. But what secret are the things behind those crew-only doors? There are large sections of the ship that you'll never get to see. From the galleys where everything is cooked, to crew quarters, to behind the scenes at the theater, to even the bridge of the ship, there's another world to the cruise ship. Now, there are tours available on some ships to explore these parts. Outside of that, you'll only see them if you're part of the crew. Do you want a secret to save 10% on thousands of cruises? All you have to do is be a member of AARP, and anyone can sign up, no matter your age. A membership to the organization is $12 a year, and it unlocks a ton of benefits. This includes the ability to buy gift cards to major cruise lines for 10% off the face value. So a $500 gift card is for sale for $450. A $100 card is for sale for $90. If you want to save even more, then you can buy the gift cards with a credit card. My credit card offers 2% cash back, so not only do I buy a $500 card for $450, then I get a little extra back on that purchase. This secret is something I have yet to 100% confirm, except through my own personal experience. That is the idea that the thermostat in your room, it may be completely for show. It seems like newer ships, you can actually hear and feel the air kick on or off when you change the thermostat. Older ships, however, I can't remember a time when changing the thermostat has seemed to make a lick of difference. I'm convinced that air conditioning is just controlled at one point all over the ship on these older vessels. Despite not touching the dial, in the middle of the night, the room will be ice cold despite me not changing anything. Or during the day, I want to cool things off and turn the dial, but there's no relief. Maybe it's my imagination, but I honestly don't think it is. Let's be real for a moment. Cruise cabins, they are small and you're sharing that space with someone else. If you have to go, especially if you don't have a balcony that lets in fresh air, then yeah, smells can linger. It's smart to bring some air freshener or poopery, but one secret can also help. There are public restrooms all around the ship, and while some are located in busy areas and see lots of foot traffic, others are tucked away and seem to get almost no use at all. If you scout out one of these spots early in the cruise, then you have a refuge should you really need to go. As well, if someone is occupying the cabin bathroom already, it's nice to have a backup spot, just in case. Your room key card is the most important thing that you'll carry around the ship by far. It's your room key, your credit card around the vessel, and it's used when leaving and returning in port. But it's also easy to forget. You walk out the door, it clicks behind you, then you realize that you don't have your card. That means a trip to guest services to get back into your own room. Instead, one secret trick is to take off your shoes as you enter the cabin, then put the card on top of them. There's no way that you're gonna walk out the door without your shoes on, so this way, you can make sure that you never forget your key card either. Speaking of guest services, this one isn't so much a secret as a way to save you a ton of time. Guest services is the go-to for any issue that you have on board. Do you forget your key card? Guest services, they can help. Do you need to manage your bill on the ship? That's guest services. But it's open 24 hours a day, and the first afternoon when you board, it can be absolutely swamped with people getting their accounts and rooms in order. So if your issue can wait, then you can come back at any time. Especially at times like first thing in the morning, there's hardly anyone there in line. And again, speaking of guest services, one reason you might have to visit them is a secret that many people don't know. On the ship, you have an onboard spending account. At the end of the cruise, the balance is settled with your credit card or cash on file. You can check the balance in real time through the cruise line's app. What people don't realize, however, is that incorrect charges, they can hit your account by mistake. For instance, I've had drinks at 2 a.m. charged to my account when I was sound asleep. But if I hadn't checked my account regularly, I never would have known. Now, if you find a correct charge, then yes, head on down to guest services and they will take care of it quickly. Any ship you sail will have a spa. What you might not know is a less expensive way to enjoy it. If you head to the spa and ask for a price list, or even look online for treatments, they will have dozens of options and they are pricey. Costs for massages, they start around $100 and they go up from there. What I've noticed is that day passes, however, aren't usually shown. But ask, and there's usually a day pass available for a reasonable price that gives spa access to things like the sauna, the rainfall showers, and the heated loungers, at much less than the cost of a massage or another treatment. One of my favorite secrets is one to help you get around the ship. Cabin hallways on the ship, they don't have windows, and the doors and the carpets and the walls, they can all look the same. So how do you know if you're going forward or backward on the ship? Cruise lines, they put in clues. For instance, NCL, they use fish or some other design that points the way forward. Royal Caribbean puts clues on the door markers like small arrows or a wave where the high end points forward. Once you see these, you'll never forget this tip on your next cruise. This might be the oddest thing that you pack, but it's a secret that seasoned cruisers know about. A shoe organizer, it costs only about $10 on Amazon and they fold flat for easy packing. I'd suggest that you bring one. Unfold it and hang it on the bathroom door when you unpack. Voila, you now have a ton of pockets to store everything from sunscreen to sunglasses and everything in between. This isn't to say that there isn't much storage in your cabin. It's actually quite the opposite, but spots for small items, they are lacking. Now, who doesn't love something free? Well, the casino actually offers a lot that's free that you may not know about. First, insert your card, and just like on land, your play is tracked. If you play enough, you can earn perks like free drinks all the way to free cruises. Don't know how to play a game? Casinos on cruise ships, they offer free classes where you can learn to play without risking any cash at all. Just check the daily planner for the times. And finally, it doesn't always work, but head to the cashier and ask if they have any used dice or cards for sale. I've gotten a used deck for free from MSC, used dice from Carnival, and a cool gaming token from Royal Caribbean, all at no cost. They make really neat souvenirs without spending money. One secret is right out in the open, but you never know it unless you're looking for it. These days, cruise ships can go up to 20 decks, but like some hotels, some cruise ships are missing a superstitious deck number. It's not every ship, but you will find some that don't offer a 13th deck. So if you're heading down, you'll go from the 14th deck to the 12th deck. The good news is that if you're taking the stairs, that means one less flight that you have to climb. It's pretty well known that if you want to buy a drink or a Wi-Fi package, it's smart to do it before you get on the ship. Cruise lines, they almost always discount these things if you book them early, and sometimes significantly so. But do you ever wonder why they do that? It's a concept known as a fresh wallet. If you buy the drink package when you board, then you've dropped a big chunk of money right at the start of your cruise. That makes you less likely to spend more on the rest of your trip. But if you purchase 3 months before your cruise, then that cost, it will be well in the past. The result is that passengers who buy packages early typically end up spending more overall. You can imagine there are lots of risks in running a cruise line. It involves the spending of more than $1 billion to build the biggest cruise ships, sourcing products and crew members from around the world, dealing with weather, health, and all sorts of other things. But you might be surprised by the threats mentioned by the cruise lines. In a recent talk aboard Celebrity Ascent, Royal Caribbean Group CEO Jason Liberty mentioned anti-tourism from some places seeing too many tourists. This is one reason why cruise lines like those private destinations where the impact on the broader community is lessened. The second is the issue of emissions. Carnival mentions this in their annual report, and Jason Liberty also cited this as a threat to the future of cruising. If you look, you'll find them on every ship, seemingly strange hieroglyphics of circles in odd shapes, but they carry important meanings. They tell others what is below the waterline that can't be easily seen. The circle with the X, it's where a thruster is located that helps the ship move sideways in the water. This symbol tells others the ship has a bulbous bow, meaning there's a nose that sticks out under the water. And this strange shape shows where a stabilizing fin sits on the ship's hull. This fin folds out and helps smooth the ride in rougher seas. One more secret, while overall safe with literally tens of millions of passengers sailing each year, crime and incidents do happen on cruises. What many people don't realize is that for ships sailing from the US, the FBI actually requires major crimes to be reported. Then each quarter, statistics are made public. Most of these crimes, like homicide and major theft, they are very rare. One of the more common is sexual assault, with dozens of reported incidents each year. The rates are still low given the massive number of passengers, but it does show that it's a good idea to keep your wits about you, even on vacation. For more on everything cruising, visit Cruzely.com or check out the other videos on this channel. As well, be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, happy sailing.